Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Noise Soul Alpha. We're going to talk about macroeconomics, technical analysis, and we'll have an occasional guest appearance by my dog Chacho. But I want to be as brief and clear and crisp and useful as possible, while at the same time telling you to go do your own research and not take any of this. Take this with a bag of salt, if you will. These are just opines. So, without further ado, I'd like to talk about plug power. Plug power has been in a beautiful pattern, and I want to show you the pattern. It's called a bullish gartley. It has a couple different shapes, but it looks like a double top. Now you can see that in these images, many different shapes. And now we're going to go over to the image that I want to show you. The bullish gartley that I've been tracking since April. Now, I started making purchases of this when it was below $1. I actually took profits and then realized that it was nowhere near done. So you can see back in August is when it did move to the gartley shape. So I'm going to show you this again. And the measured move is the left arm. And what we have here in August is a setup that manifested itself. You can see the yield curve starting to bottom out in that blue one, and I'm going to show you a couple other images. Here's a gartley again. Very nice setup. You can see there's some resistance there, but it's a fake bear flag there. And I'm going to go to the live in one moment here, but the lead up from August 15th and upside potential in hydrogen, which is what plug power is known for. Hydrogen power. Hydrogen, they have a massive foothold in the hydrogen sector in the United States. They're diversifying internationally, powering trucks for large corporations. Do your own research there. Very large corporations. I believe Walmart is one of them. So what we have here is a pattern forming, and it looks, and I'm going to show you what's been going on this weekly chart. You can see back since January, it's been taking a beating, and even before that, it's been taking a beating. But we have the setup here, and of course, this is very optimistic. But when you start to zoom out and you start to think of the fundamentals, for example, how the CEO has been doing buybacks at these levels, which is an excellent signal. So we have a target locally of $4.80. These are some of my earlier drawings starting to realize that this double bottom's coming in very nicely. And you can see this double bottom, August 15th, really nicely starting to come in. And now we're going to go to the live. So you see that gartley cooking, the double bottom, and boom, we have a gartley within a gartley, but specifically the butterfly, which is an inverse gartley. I can show you that, or you can do your own research. So there's the gartley, which is the M looking thing that gets overtaken by this arm that comes up. I'm going to show you this without the drawings. Check this out. Beautiful breakout. And we have this cup and handle. You can see this is the cup and this is the handle. So we've already started to cook that, and we're going to go roughly around there to this, this region, and that's on the lower time frame. If I jump to the weekly, you can see there's a 200-day moving average right up there at 978. Now I'm not saying it's just going to go straight up there, but as these come closer to crossing, there's going to be some magnetic forces taking place here. So you can see that as a 3x from the current price, 24684x. So in that range, I'm going to bring the drawings back, and I want to just show you some final things. Again, the CEO is buying things back. As you can see, this thing took a pounding on its initial release because, of course, the speculation around renewable energy was really high back in early 2000, very optimistic, and then we just had years of hipsterdom and false flags and such, and not to go too deep into the political side of it, but all in all, hydrogen is starting to emerge as a contender after years of beatings. We're starting to have some signs of life in this, and when I bring the drawings back, looks like a hot mess, but you can see these butterflies, which is an inverse gartley. Call it an inverse gartley. Right, we're going to show you the other version of this, which is the bearish gartley, which can actually be bullish on a high time frame. So you can see these upside down butterflies and bats, and they have different names, but they're basically gartleys, and you can see there versus that. See what I'm saying? So we're cooking here. I'm gonna go zoom in, make it more clear, because this looks like gobbledygook, and I want you to see the 4-hour again. We've had this year-long resistance, years-long resistance here. This level, you can see the red line. Let's make it nice for you. I have lots of targets and lines, but I want you to see that thick red line right there. We also have the ellipse, right? The long end of the yield curve starting to reveal itself. And then we have, of course, the cup, right? And the bull flag. Not to say we're not going to give it one more touch right here. You know, I have some thinking that we might even go all the way down here, but oops, let's not move that. It's roughly right there, yeah. So that's why I have the bottom of this. You can see that these touch points along this ellipse are alluding to some kind of intensity right there. All that to say, we're looking at further upside, but you know, buy some down there, ride it up there, ride it back into the zone, right? You see the bearish, and that'll be it.